Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry, Mowers and Blowers. It's a rainy, chilly day here in New York. Mailbag. I got this cover finally. As you know, Larry gave me this Stihl SH85 leaf blower. I put two-cycle oil in here mix, and pulled it a few times and started up. Runs fine. I think the fuel filter hose is a little short, so sometimes when you're priming, it doesn't get any gas because you have to have a full tank for it to get any gas. But if it's like a partial tank and stuff, the filter is missing the fuel. But anyway, he gave it to me because it was missing this cover. He had the wrong cover, so I have the old cover. I ordered the new cover. This cover is expensive. It's not even, new condition. It's like used and faded and stuff, but whatever, it works, It was like $13. Couldn't find it any cheaper, but whatever. I got it. Works. So that's that. And I was waiting for a starter for my MTD. That turd that I fixed. It needs a starter because it won't start right. I think that starter's on its way out. That's what I'm thinking, For God's sakes, how do they even... A puzzle. Oh. The starter was $23 or something. Wasn't bad. Wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. 23 or 30, I don't remember. I don't know if I paid 30 for it. Brand new. It's aftermarket, because it doesn't look exactly OEM. It's cool. I think I could have gotten a used one for like 23. I think I paid 30 for this. I'm not sure. Anyway, I've had this thing with a Tecumseh 13.5 engine in it, and it has trouble starting because the starter hangs up on the flywheel all the time. Let me get the. That's much better, huh? So anyway, there's the starter. I'll move you closer. Watch what happens when I try to start it. See, once it, right when it went woo, it was going to start, but because the gear is still hung up on here, it's preventing it to go any faster. See, so sometimes I have to release it right when I think it's going to go woo, right before it's going to go woo. I release it so that it drops down, hopefully, and then it'll start. See, like that. There you go, almost, see? Almost. Anyway, so this is what happens. So I look, you can see it. It's starting to smoke a little bit because it's just like not as strong, you know. I also sprayed a lot of penetrating oil to loosen up that thing, so any heat is going to burn up the excess oil that's there. So you know what? I'm just gonna. I got a new starter. I'm gonna put the starter on and see if that helps this from starting. I've got just set up over here so that doesn't get in the way. Look, I found this in my drawer. I had it for years, but I just never used it. It works pretty well actually. So I pulled the dipstick out, and I'm gonna loosen the 7/16 bolts from the starter. The positive wire to the starter. Just disconnected the wire. And it's tough to get to this area. I could remove the hood, but I remember that when I put the hood on, it was a pain in the ass to line up the holes and stuff. So I can reach. Just don't want to take off the whole hood just for this, It's a pain. It's just 2 bolts. You could use either the 7/16 wrench, or it also has the option to use a Torx wrench. I've got the right one loose. The starter's still kind of warm right now. Wow, that's a long bolt. I can't even see it, I'm just feeling for it. Sometimes if you can't turn this thing, you gotta use pliers just to help you turn it. There we go. I've got it. I've got it. This video is about, not this, but I'm actually going to take the head off of that Craftsman wood chipper shredder. I'm going to take the head off because I think as you know, the intake valve was stuck open due to water. That design pulse jet carburetor is pointed upwards. The mouth of the carburetor is pointed upwards. So if it's not indoors or covered up by the rain, will just drip right down there and just screws up everything, which is what happened. So as a result, it's all messed up. So I think the exhaust valve is stuck open. I loosened up the intake valve and it goes up and down by itself, but I think it's not allowing it to start because the exhaust valve is open. So I'm going to take the head off today. I didn't want to, but I have to, otherwise it's just sitting there doing nothing. What did I do with that new starter? Oh, let's compare. Watch, it's not the same. I guess it's the same. Right? Only one way to find out! If I run into the same problem with this new starter, then I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. But this should be it, Anyway, I'm going to save you from watching that. I'll just put it on and show you what happens. Okay, I got the starter on. And here we go. I'm going to give it a try. Holy cow! I forgot to put the dipstick back on. Spilled Earl all over. And look at that. What happened? Started right away. Awesome. I got to clean this up. Alright, I finally just cleaned that stuff up. Put the engine cover back on as well as the air filter cover. And now let's truly give it a try, eh? The only reason why this thing was in my garage is because I needed to fix the starter, you know what I mean? But now that this is done, I gotta sell this and get this out of my garage. I've got nowhere to work, man. Loaded with stuff. I'm gonna get the stuff out of the garage. So as you guys saw on time lapse, I cleared out that tractor, put it in the backyard. I parked it where the my green Saber was. And you know where that green Saber is? That's right, baby. I sold it last night for $650. Yeah. I wouldn't have sold it if I didn't get that LT1000 bagger. So now I still have a machine with a bagger system so I can suck up leaves in my own yard, right? Of course, I've got like 100 other lawnmowers with baggers, but, you know, this is a riding mower. Anyway, so here I am getting to the removal of the head of this chipper shredder. And as you saw, I removed 8 head bolts with my DeWalt, right? 12 volt brushless impact. And then there was a 3/8 holding this cover right there to it, and my Black & Decker couldn't get it off, but the DeWalt did. So that just proves right there, the DeWalt is even though it's a 12 volt, the Black & Decker is a 19 volt. The DeWalt is rated higher in terms of torque, so it removed that bolt no problem, you know. So that's why I love the DeWalt, you know. It's a 3/8 drive. Anyway, as you guys saw, I removed the head, right? And, well, I thought the exhaust valve was stuck open, but it's not. It's fine, which is good news, right? But what's the bad news? The bad news is when you have it all the way down, right? Both are seated. You use 2 fingers and try to turn the exhaust valve, and it doesn't, which means that this is good. It's seated correctly. Look at the intake valve, the one that was stuck, the one that I flooded this area with penetrating oil. Watch this. Super easy. Screw 2 fingers, 1 finger. I can freely spin this, okay? So the only way I can fix this is to do a valve job on it, right? And also, since it's a flathead, there's no real adjustments. The only way I could actually get this to work is if I remove the entire carburetor again and the gas tank and that breather cover, right? To get access to where the springs and the valves are. Take this valve off, right, and grind it down so that it gives more pressure going downwards. Or do I have that backwards? Yeah, well, either way, I have to do a valve job on this, which means I'd have to release the valve from the spring compression, take the valve off, do a valve job. I've done a valve job before, but honestly, the gas tank is in complete disarray. The carburetor is in complete disarray. I could buy a copied carb, you know, Chinese copy for $25, but then the gas tank is still in disarray, right? So I'm thinking I'm just going to sell this thing as is. I don't think I'm going to fix it because it's too much work. It's going to cost me money, right, to get it running, if it runs. And honestly, cylinder walls are pretty good. Honestly, I just don't want to. I just don't think it's worth my while. It's not worth my time to do it, you know? Because it took me all day to just remove this carburetor and clean it and put it all back together again. It's a pain in the ass. You guys that work on this type of engine with the Pulsajet carburetor gas tank combination, you know what a pain in the ass it is. So many linkages, okay? So many. And honestly, for me to spend maybe 5 to 8 hours on this, right? Get it working, just to make maybe $150 on it. It's not worth it, man. So I'm gonna sell this thing as is. It's a shame too, because I like these things, you know. And this is actually in really good shape, you know, this part right here, you know. But it's just too much work, and I just don't want to do it. I have no motivation to do it, you know. Years ago, I would have done it, you know, for sure. But I've just got so much on my plate. I've got too much to do, you know. You know, I mean, I'm not convinced yet, but I don't think I'm going to do it today. I don't think I'm going to do this. You know, because I got to weigh whether or not I should buy a new carb or still try to fix this. You know, if I do a valve job on this, I would have had removed all this anyway, you know. So to do a valve job on it and then put the old stuff back on again, you know, the amount of work it takes to put it back on, you almost feel like if you're gonna do it, right, the valve job, you would spend the $25, but more like $30 because now eBay charges tax, you know what I mean? And then put this carburetor, the new carburetor back on, hoping this gas tank will still work and stuff is not, you know, sediment and debris is still not slowly easing off the bottom of this thing and it floats around and gets stuck in the carb again and got to remove it again, you know. I mean, it's just, there's too many things, you know. And while I do like these chipper shredders, there will be others, you know, and I'm just gonna put this stuff back again, the bolts, and sell it as is. Because this is pretty loose. Look, if I could do it with one finger, it's pretty loose. Yeah, I'm gonna put it back together, put it aside, sell the whole thing for like $50 or something. I did, you know, it looks so yucky and dirty, right? So just took my drill with the wire wheel on there and I cleaned up the head a little bit and it started to look really nice and stuff. And so then I took some very fine 320 grit 3M sandpaper. It's you know, one of those plastic thingamajigs, right? I cut a strip and I started just doing a you know, like a field valve job, you know what I mean? Just getting some of the carbon buildup around the edges around the valves, you know, just by going like this, symmetrically, turning it a little bit, doing some more, blah, blah, blah. And you saw I even cleaned up the head too, you know. So I just put the head back. I just torqued it down with the DeWalt, boom, 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 boom. It's more than tight, trust me. It may even be more torqued down than the specs, you know. And I blew some brake cleaner into the carburetor after I cleaned all that, put everything back. And when I pulled it a few times, it kind of puffed a couple of times. So I said, you know what, let me stop the time lapse, let me get it on video, and in case for a miracle it actually starts, you know. But it almost looked like it wanted to start, so I'm just going to keep pulling it for a while. a beast. Man, look at that. Look at it idle. Crazy, right? Can you guys believe that this thing worked? Can you believe this thing works? Oh my God, I can't believe this thing works. Holy cow. Holy cow, guys, I am so stoked. You guys didn't think I could get this thing working, did you? Yeah, well, you know what? Me either. I didn't think this was going to work. You know what? True test to see if it starts again. Maybe I have to choke it. guys. There's no way I thought that thing would start. I'm amazed. I'm really amazed that that thing worked. Are you guys amazed? It's crazy. Anyway, I gotta brush some of this stuff off my new driveway. My new Stihl SH85. Thanks, Larry. Works great. How about that, fellas? Man, oh man, am I stoked, seriously. So now I'm gonna put these bolts back on this air cleaner base. I grinded down all the rust that was here. As you can see, the way this thing is designed, right? This is acting like a funnel right down into the carburetor. It's a terrible design, man. It's pointed right up. Anything that falls here, moisture, whatever, it's going to go right into the carburetor. And then you're done ski. Just to think, if I didn't take that extra time to clean things up and say, you know what, maybe I could just at least clean up the. My muffler's hot. If I didn't think about just doing that a little bit, I was just going to put the head on as is. You know what I mean? I didn't even really clean it all that well. Just telling you, this is one hell of a machine, man. The air cleaner is actually okay. It's just a little dirty, but it'll work, you know? If you can see through it in the light, it's still good. However, the pre-cleaner was Dunsky. I actually happen to have a brand new pre-cleaner. I don't remember where I got it from, but whatever. You know? And I don't really remember how this went on. I think that goes like that. Does the pre-cleaner go on here? No. This goes on like this. I'll hold it. And you got this cover here. I don't know if it goes this way or this way. I'm thinking this way because this part has an intake. So you want it from the cold air, not from the hot engine, right? And you got a label on the inside, which would make sense. Or would the label be on the outside? Does that look right? The label's on the outside? I don't really think it makes much difference. Actually, the exhaust fumes are here, so maybe the vent would want to come from over here. That makes some sense. So how does the pre-cleaner go? Is it the soft part on the outside and the metal part on the inside? I would think this is right, because you want the metal to kind of protect this. It's just a cleaner. It's not the space shuttle. Yeah, so a pre-cleaner, brand new. That'll keep debris from anywhere. So look, this cover though is designed to keep water out, because look, there's a lip that goes right over everything else. Right? Right. Man, oh man. So now, I'm gonna list this for $325. Yeah. Hey, They can lowball me all they want. If it's a number that I say, hey, that's okay, I'll do it. And then you're going to run into a nut, like that nut I ran to the other day who gave me $450 for my vac chipper. I mean, I don't know why he didn't look around some more, because I've seen them for 75, 125, 175, but mine was in really good condition, though. I will tell you that. All right, so we got this all figured out. I have this thing left over. Don't know where it came from. You know how you put together something and you have an extra bolt? I just don't know where it came from. Well, if it's there, I'll just leave it there for now. All right, well, that's it. We did it. We did it. Fantastic. I wonder what this leak is. It looks like gas. Leaking gas? It's leaking gas. It's leaking gas from over here. Oh no. You know what? It didn't leak gas there before. Why would it leak gas here now? It's leaking. Gasage. I'll have to figure that out. But you know what? Let's try to start it up again. Choke with throttle. Amazing. One pull. One pull. One pull and it starts up. I'm going to try to figure out where that gas has come from. So I tilted it to its side so that the fuel is not in that area. And I discovered that I believe there's a little pinhole. Come on, focus, man. Sorry guys, I just can't focus, but there's a little pinhole right there. It's where it's rusted, you see it? It's coming out from there. There it is. It's where this depression is. See how it looks like there's a small little bowl here? It's like a little depression. Almost like there would be a screw here that you would take out to drain the fuel, you know, that kind of feeling, but it's not. It's just the rusted part where there's a pinhole. So I'm going to let it dry here because it's on its side, right? And then I'm going to put a dab of silicone on there, see if that works. But that's my fix for the day. We put on a new starter for my Yardmachines 13.5 Tecumseh engine lawn tractor, and that'll be ready to go now. And while I definitely did not think I could get this thing going today, because I thought it was just Dunsky, right? It's amazing what you can do, little things that you can do that you know if you did it big time and redid it, it would work, right? But I just did it, you know, just to see, you know, and it worked, which tells you actually that this machine is a beast. We tried it out with some sticks and twigs and stuff and a big blob of leaves that you just throw into that hamper, I guess. Just bleh, into thousands of little pieces. It's cool, man. Anyway, thanks for following me along today's project. Another one down. See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. So I put a coat of RTV blue gasket maker under there, generous amount. Now look, this RTV silicone is designed for high temperatures, oil, all that stuff. I'm sure a little pinhole for gas is going to work, you know. Vulcanize the bottom there. So that ought to do it. Bad ass. Hey guys, support my channel, buy a sticker. Also follow me on Instagram at mowersblowers. Check out my website, mowersblowers.com. See you guys on the next project. Have a great day.
See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.